Hey guys, so we are actually going to be going out and looking at a couple different houses to potentially invest in to actually flip. So we're just going to take you along. I don't think that we can actually show you inside the houses because they are listed.
But we'll tell you the details.
Yeah, kind of give you an idea of what we look for and that kind of thing. So let's go.
All right.
Alright, so we're on our way to go look at a couple houses, and I wanted to just chat a little bit about what you find that you look for in a flip house. So like, what are like your main things that you're looking for?
Well, first off, I'm looking for value. I have to find one that's within the initial budget, which I've already come to calculate. And I'm also looking for, so once I have the budget in mind, I'm looking for something that is distressed enough to have to do significant work to, but not too distressed in which I'm going to have to start from scratch, essentially.
Gotcha. Would you consider like a condemned house, or would that be too far?
Depends on the level of condemned. We've come across condemned properties that are not as condemned per se as it may seem. Like there'll be a small area in which needs completely repaired, but the rest of the house actually is in good condition. I've been in condemned homes in which like they're completely falling apart, and I don't really have the time or energy to take on a project of that magnitude, being that I do want to do a lot of the work myself. So that's pretty much it.
Gotcha. So like when you say that you have in mind a budget, is that like a budget for the renovation cost, or for like how much you actually want to put, like how much you want to buy it for, to like you have like, okay, this is the maximum amount I would get it for or something?
I have a budget in mind for the cost of the initial purchase of the property, and then I also have a budget in mind for the renovation cost. I don't want to be too into a property, especially, it just depends on like what the house is and what I think I can get for it. I don't want to unleverage myself too much by having a whole bunch of cash involved on one project at a time.
Gotcha. Yep. Well, that definitely is helpful to keep in mind. My role typically when we do these is to get an idea for what it's going to resell for. Now that's something obviously Ozzy knows too, but that's kind of what I focus on. I also try to think about design wise. Now Ozzy's actually, you've been taking on a good amount of the design portion recently of flips and that kind of thing, but
it depends.
I try to think about, okay, what would be like a good theme for this house, like a good style, you know, what would be a good way to aim, so that way we have an idea, okay, is this going to be a really high-end flip? Is this one we're going to put a lot of like, you know, expensive tile and that kind of thing in, or, you know, granite, that kind of thing? Or is it going to be something that's, you know, maybe this is a more basic, let's just, you know, get rid of the, you know, bad, you know, mechanicals or something like that, and kind of make it into like a more basic,
yeah,
easier
once you
renovation.
get into a house, it tends to be rather simple as far as all of the things that you have to do to it to get it into a rehabbed condition. So it's just about looking at the same typical things over and over again and making sure that they're not exceeding the damage that is going to be, you know, budget-wise. As far as it doesn't exceed too much damage, it's not going to cost us that much to repair and get it back up to its original condition, and that's what we're really looking for.
Makes sense, makes sense. That's cool.
So the two properties that we're going to be looking at today are, one is a 2-unit, technically they're side-by-side duplex style. Reason that caught our eyes is that we are going to be looking at them as two separate deeds essentially, and potentially being able to buy them both and sell them individually.
Or even, I think we had talked about even, you know, if the values are right there, to keep one and rent one and maybe flip the other one. But I guess it just depends on what the numbers end up being like with that.
Yeah, definitely an option that we've been wanting to consider doing. We've had rental property before, not our strongest suit, but at the same time, it's something that we do want to get back into for our future long
It's a
investment.
good retirement plan.
But that duplex definitely looks like it has a lot of potential. The price is right so far, so I want to be able to see it in person and make sure that there's nothing major that we're missing that will cost more than what it's worth. And then the second one is just a regular semi-detached town home that's very cheap, large size, has the right bones to it per se, good location. So hopefully look at that and see if that's a potential to flip. If not, keep looking.
Sounds good. All right. Well, we will bring you along the journey as much as we can. All right, so we did go and see the 2 different houses. Like Ozzy said, the first one was a 2-unit, so it was actually kind of like seeing 2 for that one, and then we saw the last one. So Ozzy, do you want to tell us about what we thought of them and whether we would pursue them or not?
Yeah, well, we wouldn't pursue either of them to start off, but the duplex was way in much better condition than the single house that we ended up seeing. But to tell you a little bit more, the duplex wouldn't work out only because the second floor had a really strange layout in which you had to go through one of the bedrooms in order to get into the bathroom, and as the only bathroom in the whole house. So we don't really see them being able to sell as an individual home, only because it doesn't really make sense for pretty much anybody to buy.
Yeah, because anytime when there's only 2 bedrooms and then you have to walk through the one to get to the bathroom, it's like it's just very unpractical. That's really difficult to resell. So since we know that as agents that's difficult to resell, it's like, well, we're not going to buy that and invest in that to to try to market. It just doesn't make any sense.
And both units were the same, so it didn't even make sense of like buy one keep one. It was too impractical of a situation, and plus the price that they're asking for in the location just makes it even more difficult for resale.
Yeah, we had to walk about like 7 minutes or so just to get to the house from our parking. So probably, I mean, I don't care for seeing it, but someone's gonna care when they're looking to buy.
But the second house, going up to it, we thought would be a home run. It was beautiful from the exterior. Definitely seemed like a good option initially, but quickly that turned into a absolutely not. Once we walked in, there was major water damage. Collapsing
all
of
over
the roof, the walls were done, windows needed pretty much the whole house needed to be gutted and restarted. And like I said initially, that is not something that I really want to get myself into. And the spread on the numbers started to really creep up to a profit that wouldn't be really worth it unless you got a really good deal and they lowered the price by several tens of thousands of dollars. So again, not an option. So we'll just continue looking. I mean, again, no rush. You always want to make the right decision when investing in real estate. You definitely make your money on the purchase, not on the sell. So make sure you buy smart.